In our last video, Sandy Call of Franklin Templeton explained that there is about $100 trillion worth of securities that are going to go on chain, and she thinks about 10% of it should happen within this bull run. And 10% of that is about another 10 trillion on top of the $4 trillion of the current crypto market cap. That's just those securities, right? So what else is coming down the pipe? You have to stop and think, because there's a lot more coming on blockchain than just payments or securities, right? So Smoke outlines this for us a little bit here, just to clarify what you need to be patient for if you're already in, or what to expect, at least the way I see it from some of the information I see. And I think this is pretty articulate. He says the XRPL is positioned to lead the $867 trillion in real world assets RWA tokenization wave. And that's going to happen, guys. And a huge piece of that is real estate. As of August 2025, only 26 billion in real world assets are tokenized across all blockchains. That is nothing. That's a pittance. There is a ton more value coming on chain, especially the utility blockchains. We know which ones those are. So then he goes on to say that the World Economic Forum projects that real-world asset tokenization could eventually encompass up to $867 trillion in financial assets, which is what we pointed to up here. The XRPL is documented as a prime platform for those real-world asset tokenizations. Experts, including the Digital Assets Council of Financial Professionals, named the XRP Ledger a top contender to tokenize global assets. Naturally, it's going to be a top contender. So let's take a closer look. Here's a nice little chart that they're referring to there, and let's expand here, because I got to make this thing big so I can read it. It says tokenization real world assets. Total real world assets right now on chain is 26 billion, as you can see there. Total asset holders, there's only 364,000 of us at this point. You know there's a lot more asset holders in the world, and so it's just going to grow, especially once you realize the benefits of this. It says real-world assets on-chain represent physical and traditional financial assets, real estate, stocks, bonds, and commodities as digital tokens on a blockchain. RWA tokenization is in its early stages. That's right, they're just getting started. A trend of growth can be observed in terms of real-world asset total value coming on-chain in various categories. And down here it says source, RWA.xyz as of August 16th, 2025. So this is current information. And it's showing you here, it's giving you a nice little chart. And it says right there, the U.S. Treasury debt, just breaks it down for you in terms of which assets are on there. So you can see it color-coded there, and you can see it color-coded. You can just kind of match it up over here and see how much is where. That's just right now, guys. A lot more is on. Here's another snippet from the report. It says down here at the bottom in highlight yellow, while the World Economic Forum estimates that tokenization could target up to 867 trillion in financial assets, representing nearly all global assets, settlements and payments involving these assets amount to hundreds of trillions in value. Hundreds of trillions, yeah, it does, sure does. Much of which can be re-platformed by on-chain rails. That's coming. They know what they're going to be able to do with it. It'll be faster, it'll be more secure and cheaper to transact, and it'll be 24/7, 365, and that's so here it's telling you what some of the contenders are, just to make sure everybody understands what's what. It says, who are the contenders? A growing number of players are building tokenization infrastructure. Some of the most visible include Ethereum, which we know, but it's slow and expensive and clunky. It's old. It's not going to be the one, guys. Just run a transaction on it. You're going to know what I'm talking about. $20, $20 transaction here, $20 transaction on XRP, and there's no way you're going to run larger transactions if you don't. You won't even like the small ones. Solana, fast and cheap. Solana is gaining traction. Yeah, because it's part of this group here. It's the same group of people. It really is. However, this one goes down often, and I don't trust the people behind it. This chain just barely, it's pretty new, so it has no real track record. It does not have the relationships that Ripple does, and it does not have the patents Ripple does for the transfer value. Ripple has much more utility. XRP Ledger Ripple. Ripple is positioning the XRP Ledger as the blockchain for institutional finance with a focus on global payments. Ripple's XRP ETF ambitions are part of the broader tokenization push. Ripple has also applied for a U.S. bank charter and a Fed master account, which they didn't put there. Avalanche is another one, emphasizes in institutional friendly tooling, and Polygon, of course. And I do think Polygon is a pretty good chain there. That is Ethereum based. Avalanche, however, it's its own little deal, and it's awesome. I like it for DeFi. So this is kind of what to look at. This is some of the inside baseball. It's when you look at the details here, you're sort of in the weeds, and it seems a little bit it seems dull, but it's not dull, because that's what's going to bring the money, the value to the blockchain of those coins that you buy. Each one of them is going to be worth a lot more, because there's a limited supply and it's a shrinking supply. And so when you start adding value to that, it makes those coins heavier in terms of value. And so that's what's coming down the pike. We're just getting started. We're barely scratching the surface. So for me, I can be patient, which is why this has always been a 2030 proposition for me. It may happen sooner, because there's a real push to get this stuff done quickly. And the U.S. national debt isn't shrinking anytime soon. Faith in the U.S. dollar is, it's just, it's a slippery, it's just sliding down quickly. I mean, it's dissipating so fast. They're going to have to do something to save it. And I think this is the pivot to digital assets and real world asset tokenization. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and bookmark. We'll see you guys on the next one. Till next time, adios, amigos.